Okay, hello EGP learners. We're here live at PCN Plus Conference 2026, and we're at the Pure Health and Wellbeing stand. Have I got that right?
No, Pure Unity Health Group.
You need the microphone.
Oh, Pure Unity Health Group.
That's great. So kindly sponsoring the event and talking to our delegates here. So, are you guys having a good time here at PCN Plus?
Yeah, it's been really good from what we've experienced so far.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've got my microphone. Yeah, no, I'm having a great time today. It's a really, really good little small conference where lots of discussion. I've seen a lot of people that we work with, PCN managers, clinical directors. So it's nice to catch up with people. It's been a really good event so far.
That's great. So, what sort of things have you been talking about being able to support practices, networks, systems, neighbourhoods with?
So lots of different services. So we're the country's largest provider of first contact physiotherapists. So the physios that sit in primary care. We deliver primary care pain services and long-term condition services. We do social prescribing. We've got women's specific pelvic health services. So, those services help prevent ladies going forward into gynecology services, etc. So, yeah, lots of good conversations with quite a few people so far.
Excellent. And can either of you tell us just a little bit more about the company, I guess, and if there's any other things about the offer that people should know?
If I take that one, so yeah, I've had some really good discussions with a lot of people around the long-term condition support service and our chronic pain support service. I think with it being really sort of neighbourhood focused today, we sit really nicely with that because we've been doing lots of projects which essentially are really sort of close neighbourhood working. So our chronic pain support service, where we sort of slot in with health coaching one-to-one and pain cafes to help people longer term. So it's that preventative sort of agenda. So a lot of our services are really focused around that, so sit nicely with neighbourhoods. So we've been having a lot of good chats around that.
Okay, great. So I guess for these services that people are using their ARS funding, I guess, to bring into their networks and help patients benefit from them.
Exactly, yeah. At the moment we are working with GP federations and more at place level, and we're doing some exciting projects on like the Growth Accelerator pilot and things like that, but the vast majority is ours funded, yeah.
Okay, great. And what else would you like people to know about either your company or your service?
So I think when we start looking at neighbourhood health, there's lots and lots of opportunity to do things differently. We obviously at the moment we see that there's large secondary care waiting lists around orthopaedics, so sort of even physio, MSK services, and I think there's a lot that we can do, sort of gynecology as well within that primary care setting. Hopefully there'll be some neighbourhood funding comes down the track, but maybe if we look at using the funding that is available a little bit differently to fund some of these services within primary care, turning that tap off, so reducing those NHS wait lists by delivering a different type of service in the community first. So very, very much looking at that 10-year plan, around that prevention agenda. There's an awful lot that we can do differently to help the system, and we can provide many of those services. So
yeah, I think just leading on from that, we've been doing this now with these sort of proactive services for a good 2-3 years. I'm talking to quite a few PCNs that are starting to think about what services they could put together but don't really know where to start. We've got that experience, we've got the clinical support, and yeah, I think we're sort of got that ready-made package to come in and help that PCN or neighbourhood or whatever it might be.
Okay, so did I hear that right, that if neighbourhoods or primary care networks perhaps have an issue that they want to tackle, perhaps there isn't already a very specific service for it, that you can help them kind of craft that or pull that together? Exactly,
yeah. And we can very much sort of tailor it around the local PCN and their population needs, their priorities, PCN or more, place-wide. Yeah, absolutely. And I think
quite experienced at taking activity sort of out of secondary care and delivering services differently in the community. So for example, very recently we've been doing a waitlist initiative for a primary care pain service. Not primary care, a secondary care pain service. And really there's a lot of people on those waiting lists that don't really want to be there, know why they're there, and they're making those lists huge, whereas actually if we delivered those services differently within that primary care setting, there's no reason for them ever to get on those lists.
So that's the sort of conversation that'll be quite attractive to some of the other partners coming together into neighbourhoods, thinking about the people who own those waiting lists. Perhaps the acute trusts,
exactly, yeah,
for example, would be really interested in removing people from those lists who don't need to be there or don't want to be there. So I guess last question. Anything that's kind of coming up frequently today in terms of your conversations with the delegates at the conference? Any particular themes or observations?
I think there's been a lot around neighbourhood development and how that's going to be sort of or where the funding streams are going to be and things like that. That's obviously really, really sort of interesting. But also, where do they go with the neighbourhoods, and when they are thinking about what services to start to create, how do they go about doing it? And I think that's where we can help.
And for me, I think it's being proactive with that. There are opportunities to do things differently, utilising the funding that currently exists in the system, but to try and do things more in primary care to turn that tap off. And so I just think the voice of primary care needs to probably be a bit louder with what we can do, and how we can help the other providers, secondary care providers, part of that neighbourhood to deliver services in a different way, more efficiently.
Great, and that's probably a good place to wrap up. So thanks very much for talking to me at your stand here at the PCN Plus Conference, talking to the delegates and supporting the event. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Good.
Nice one.
Ta-da. Okay, good.